I can use this, twist off a limb, pull it out, and that's okay. That act of violence is okay because it's my property.
Actually, essentially that is what I'm saying. While the baby's inside of your body, you have the right to decide what to do with it because it resides in your body.
Do you think that was okay? Do you think it's okay to set banners on fire?
I think people can do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Support it. Why can't women be...
When sperm and egg unite, they create a unique, living, whole human being. Exactly. I'm the anti-abortion. Sperm is a part of a man's body. An egg is part of a woman's body. When sperm and egg unite, they create a unique, living, whole human being that's never existed before and never existed again. A sperm is a part that can be used to create a whole living human being. But it's not full DNA. It's not a human person. Science tells us that sperm and eggs aren't persons. But a zygote, an embryo, a fetus is a human being, is a person that's never existed before and will never exist ever again. That has unique genetic code.
My question is that unborn fetus that cannot live outside the mother, what right do you have to tell me to carry it to term if it's an unplanned pregnancy? And odds are that if it goes into the foster care system, it will face severe neglect and abuse.
So you believe that we should have the right to eliminate the sufferer, not the suffering. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying at all, and that's not what my question is.
You just said that if you knew for 100% certainty that the child you're birthing is going to have a lifetime of suffering, that it would be better for the child for you to kill and the life of the child than for the child to suffer. So instead of attempting to solve the suffering of the child, you've just eliminated the potential sufferer, right?
My question was, how do we end that suffering to make bringing a child that is unwanted into this world justifiable?
Well,
so
I think
how
there's
do
a lot
you
of
propose
things.
We solve those problems.
We absolutely, as pro-lifers and as Americans, we care about the children in foster care. We care about children who are being neglected, who are living on the streets with their parents. These are things that we as Americans strive to fix, right? That we give to charitable organizations, that we're involved in organizations in our community and churches in our community to solve these problems. So I actually don't believe anyone in this room, regardless of whether or not you're pro-life or you're pro-choice, thinks that children should be suffering in foster care or children should live through hunger or homelessness. But what you're advocating for is you're trying to justify legal abortion by saying some people are going to suffer, therefore we're going to play God and we're going to eliminate the sufferer. I think that's absolutely wrong. One, because people come out of adversity. People do suffer, and we will all suffer in our life. But I think it's wrong for you to say, you will suffer, therefore I'm going to kill you.
So bringing you back to my question, how do you propose we solve those problems for the children that are suffering?
So do you want to go through today all the world's problems and all the United States problems and try to solve? Because this is a common thing we hear in the pro-life movement. You're pro-life, but you don't care about people once they're born. You don't care about women after they're born. In fact, if you have to be pro-life, we have to do 30 different things. Yet, are you upset that the American Diabetes Association doesn't fight cancer?
I specifically simply asked about
Are
the foster
you
care
upset
system.
that the American Diabetes Association doesn't fight cancer?
No,
Why?
because they are the Diabetes Foundation.
Exactly. I am the anti-abortion. Next question. That's the next question because you just answered my.
Where I asked for a proposed solution to our issues in foster care and child homelessness.
Okay, we can have a debate. I can do a whole lecture about foster care. We can do a whole lecture on homelessness. These are great problems that we face in our nation, right? These are dilemmas that we face. And there's different policy prescriptions for how to solve those things. But my organization, my mission is very limited. It's to abolish abortion, to make abortion illegal and unthinkable because abortion is the greatest human rights tragedy our world faces. There's no other act of violence that kills more people every single day in America and across the world than abortion. There's nothing wrong with me fighting and spending 100% of my time doing it. Just like how there's nothing wrong with the American Diabetes Association putting 100% of their money, their research and time behind curing juvenile diabetes. No one ever accuses the Diabetes Association or the American Cancer Association of not trying to cure every life-ending disease. Because we all understand in order to be effective, in order to achieve our goal, you have to remain laser focused on your goal. It's very basic business principles, right? It's very basic. But yet, what we hear often from those who disagree with us on abortion is what's the pro-life movement doing on all of these things? That we have to solve all the societal ills. We have to address all of them in order to be heard. And the reality is you don't really care what I do. That I support children in third world countries, or that I might be volunteering at a soup kitchen, or many people in the pro-life movement are actually, they're the foster parents, they're leading the adoption efforts. It's just an argument to try to stop the actual discussion from happening, which is abortion is a moral wrong and it should be stopped. Your argument is essentially that it's a human, it's a member of our species, it has its own body, but because of where it's residing, you should be able to do whatever you want. So essentially what you're doing is you're treating another human being like your property. Is that right?
No.
Because you're treating this as your property. Well, if I can do whatever I want, this baby's inside of me, it's inconvenient to me, I can dispose of it, I can kill it, right? I can use this, twist off a limb, pull it out, and that's okay. That act of violence is okay because it's my property.
What I'm saying is that while the baby is inside of your body, actually, essentially that is what I'm saying. While the baby is inside of your body, you have the right to decide what to do with it because it resides in your body, because it is a part of you, because it is not yet its own autonomous thing, because it is directly affecting your life.
What
and
happens
because
when
most
the child
abortions
can survive
occur
outside the womb? I'm asking you, since you made the argument that it's a woman's body because she can do with what she wants, and you said it's her property. If the fetus can survive outside of the womb, is it moral to still abort it?
I think if the fetus can survive outside of the womb, there's no doctor that would abort it. They would obviously, like you said, choose
You've
that
never
option.
met a late-term abortionist then. You can Google late-term abortion tonight, and you can find late-term abortionists who commit abortions. So Dr. Carhart is in Maryland. He goes between Germantown, Maryland, and Omaha, Nebraska. Every single week, he goes back and forth. He operates 2 late-term abortion facilities, and he says you can abort for whatever reason, because it's your right, up until the moment of birth, and he commits late-term abortions every single week. The 2 abortionists in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the abortionists in the Denver Planned Parenthood, they all commit late-term abortions. Women do choose late-term abortion, and it's not for reason of there's a physical risk to the mother. Because if that's the case, you don't go to a dirty abortion facility, you go to the hospital. And you have your OB/GYN treat you as 2 patients. When women who are visibly 9 months pregnant, visibly 8 months pregnant, go to an abortion facility, they're choosing abortion because they feel like they have to, because it's environment, they're living in poverty, they have something, the child has some fetal abnormality. That's the reason they choose to abort their child. You don't end suffering, though, or potential suffering, by eliminating the sufferer. That's not how it works. Does that make sense?
So like you just said, those women would only choose to have a late-stage abortion because they feel like they have no other option.
No. I've actually met women. I was reading an article today of a woman in Canada who chose a 9-month abortion because she said she wanted to. Her boyfriend broke up with her, and she didn't want to have the baby.
And that's her right to choose.
Her right to choose what?
To not have the baby, her right to bodily autonomy.
All right.
Okay.
So you believe that when
Thank
a
you.
fetus
Thank you
can
for
survive
sharing.
outside the womb, it's okay to still abort it?
I think that that's the female's choice.
You've answered my question. Thank you. Next question?
I know throughout your talk you're speaking of making abortion illegal, and I just want to know, what about basic female autonomy and our choice to choose these certain things?
Yeah. So as pro-lifers, we are pro-choice in many things, right? We believe she has the choice to choose what health care provider she goes to, what college degree she gets, what college she goes to if she wants to go to college, what spouse, what anything she wants, right? But your autonomy, your ability to do whatever you want with your body, stops when it harms someone else's body. This is why in hospitals, you can't smoke within so many feet of the entrance. Why can't someone go into the pulmonary ward and start smoking up? Because their right to ingest harmful chemicals that are going to probably give them lung cancer, their right to do whatever the hell they want with their body, stops when it hurts my child. Because it hurts someone else's body. And that's the entire premise of the pro-life movement. That we can say this is all about bodily autonomy, but the question is what body we're talking about, because abortion deals with two bodies.
Yes, it does make sense. I just disagree.
So you said you disagree that it's not a human, it's a human being. Like, you agree, right, that at the moment of conception, a human being is created.
Wait, what?
Do you agree that when sperm and egg unite, the moment of conception, fertilization,
It's a collection
that
of cells
unique
to create
human,
a human being. Yes.
is that collection of cells a unique human being?
It's a collection of cells to start creating a fetus, which grows into an embryo, which grows into a human being. Yes, I agree with that.
Oh, you just denied science.
I didn't deny science.
Because embryo, zygote, fetus, infant, toddler, adolescent, those aren't things we came from. They were people, parts, that's who we are. That's a stage of our development. I didn't come from an embryo. I didn't come from a fetus. I once was one because that's a natural stage of human development. So, do you think that the children that are apprehended at the border that are in government, U.S. government care, whether it's a U.S. government agency or if it's a Catholic relief agency that's being contracted by the government, do you think like babies who are going to die should be resuscitated and be given care?
Yes.
Do you believe that like a baby who's born alive during an abortion at Planned Parenthood should get care?
No.
What's the difference? No, my question is, what is the difference? No, because I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer your question. I wrote down your points, but I want to know from you, what is the difference? Why do you care about a mom who's made a dangerous journey through Mexico, through Central America, put her life, her child's life at risk? Why do you care that we should use taxpayer dollars? So say she crosses the border, her child's severely malnourished, and her child is dehydrated, right? For example, my son was in the hospital last week with severe acidosis because of dehydration and could have died. So she comes across the border and she has a baby in her arms that's dying, right? Should we pay for that child's health care?
Yes.
If a child is born alive during an abortion procedure, because sometimes the abortionist misses the heart when they're administering the digoxin, should the abortionist have to provide health care to that child?
No.
Why?
Because they're performing an abortion. So before that, they've already determined that it's not a baby. I know you're telling me that science has determined one thing, but...
You just said they determined it's not a baby. How can an abortionist determine... How can an abortionist not determine it's not a baby? Excuse me, I'm dialoguing with her. How can an abortionist determine it's not a baby? Why is it not a baby? Is what I want you to tell me. Is why do you think it's not a baby?
It's a fetus.
It
hasn't been born yet.
But if it has been born, so if this baby comes out of utero and the digoxin hasn't been successful in inducing cardiac arrest, and this baby is alive.
Well, first of all, I think that's a really rare occasion. Thank you. I think it's a really rare occasion. So I don't think it's all abortions, but...
It is rare, but it does happen because a group of abortion survivors were just at the White House. So it does happen. So do you think it's a baby?
No.
The person who took the banner advertising this event with my face on it and set it on fire on this campus, you shut down the conversation. Do you think that was okay? Do you think it's okay to set banners on fire?
I think people can do whatever the fuck they want to do.
So there's no moral right or wrong?
I think people can do whatever the fuck they want to do. They can have an abortion, they can fuck 5 people in the night, they can come and listen to your speech, and they can still have questions for you.
And you can set banners on fire and
I
that's
think
fine?
people can do whatever the fuck they want to do.
So do you believe that there's moral right and wrong?
I can say it one more time for the people outside. I can do whatever the fuck
So she doesn't believe in right or wrong. That's actually a very scary society because there are rights and there are wrongs. And you can't be like, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do, because that's actually a very, very scary situation. Because if I wanted to go out and murder people or commit an act of genocide, I shouldn't have the right to do whatever the fuck I want to do. Next question.
If I were a Mexican woman that you want to deport and I say I am pregnant with a US citizen, what are you going to do? You cannot deport Mexican women after that. This is the rabbit hole that you're going to create.
Sure.
And I think by the end of what I'm saying, you're going to reply with, I don't know. That's what it's going to be.
No, I actually think this is actually a really good conversation. That's why I'm here. Because this is a
These are
conversation.
things that you do not consider.
Well, this is a conversation we need to have. And I'm actually excited that we're actually having this conversation. Like, this is a good conversation to have.
Well, I'm glad
So
you're
what
excited.
happens to an illegal immigrant woman who comes from Mexico or Central America or whatever, becomes impregnated in the United States, and now she's carrying a child? Should she be deported? I would say no.
Okay.
Like, that's super
Okay,
simple.
so I am from a country where a lot of Americans, vacation. And if I were to have sex with an American man and I were to become pregnant with an American child, because you know that any American person's any child that they have is a U.S. citizen, could I deport that child conceived in my country under the laws in my country where I am allowed to deport children?
You're going to deport your own child?
I mean, where I am allowed to have an abortion in my own country.
I mean, okay, so
I don't know.
if you're saying you get pregnant in your country?
My country, where an American man came to
Okay.
my country.
Sure.
Yes, and we had sex, and I conceived a U.S. citizen.
A U.S. citizen? I don't know. I mean, maybe
You don't know.
think you're-
Okay, yeah,
maybe
I
you
said
don't-
it.
I don't
said
know.
it. You were going to say I don't know.
Like, I'm not an international lawyer, so it'd be the
These
question
are things
is
that
how
you need to
do it?
consider before you put up crap like this. You cannot
this is
start
the
talking
discussion
about.
we need to
You
have.
cannot talk about wanting to make things illegal without considering the things
You're
that
right.
happen.
We should just keep on killing the babies left and right and never have a discussion about this ever. Is that what you want
No,
me to say?
we should read books. We should study things, we should research
And that's
things
why we're having
before we
this
get up on
discussion.
stages of universities and act like fools. Look at the thing that you have there.
What?
You're acting like a fool. You do not know what you
What does abortion do? What does abortion
Are you
do, man?
kidding me, bro? It is an exercise of my right to do what I want to do with
What
my
happens to
body.
abortion? What
God
happens to
gave
abortion?
you one womb. Well, I don't know how many wombs God gave you, but He didn't give you mine. So you can leave mine alone. That is all I'm
What
trying to
happens
say to
in
you.
an abortion?
Listen, I'm telling you, anytime I'm pregnant, I will have an abortion. I don't know about you. Because as you know as well,
Xavier University
women
should be really proud of this.
women used to use hangers to your laws are not going to
I
make
disputed that already.
your laws are not going to make abortion impossible. Your laws are making abortion inaccessible, and
That's
people
why we
will
fight
still
to
have
make it illegal and unthinkable. That's why I said at the beginning of my presentation, our goal in the pro-life movement is twofold. But I'm asking you a question. What happens in an abortion?
I get to choose what is mine and
If
what
there's
is not
nothing
mine.
wrong with what happens in abortion, then tell me what happens in abortion. If it's so good, tell me what happens in abortion.
A fetus, a clump of cells that I did not ask to be here, they can go. If that person,
I'm a clump of cells. Can you abort me?
I would, because I don't know what you're up there doing today. I don't know what you're up there doing today. You need to sit down with a book, and you need to sit down. I don't know if you need to enroll at the university.
Explain to me what
and do
happens in
some.
abortion. So a clump of cells.
You
a fetus.
know, and you do not know what happens when you
What
make
happens?
laws like this. You
What
do not
happens in an
understand what your Roe versus Wade world would look like. And you think it's funny. That's the same thing I said to you outside. You think this is funny? You
No, I
like
think this is
people's
an
life.
important discussion to have, man.
Half the
We
people,
don't have this
half the
discussion.
people in this
This is
room,
an important
half the
legal
people
discussion
in this
to
room
have.
are on student loans, and you want them to have children. You know how much children cost? You're privileged as hell. You're privileged as hell. You have 4 kids. They have medical issues. I cannot afford a medical bill, $1,000 medical bill, as such that half of these children in here cannot afford. And you're making these laws
What
because
happens in
you can
abortion?
afford a $1,000 bill.
What happens in
Can
abortion?
you afford $1,000 medical bill right now? Yes, you can, but half the people in this room can't afford it. And then you stand up there talking about, oh, let's give women what they need. Women do not need. Why are we putting women in a position that they need to be supported? Why can't women be
this, ma'am?
Why can't women be independent on their own? Why can't women just live in a world where they can make their own decisions on their own bodies and their own time? I do not need you to help me. I do not need you to give me anything. Like, let me do what I want to with my
But
body.
it's not just your body when we talk about abortion.
You're a whole cunt. Yeah, that's what it is, and I don't. At the beginning of it, I said you were going to say the words "I don't know" before I was done, and you did. You do not know what you're up here doing. So please go and read a book.
So I'm ill-educated. I'm privileged. What else did you call me? You want like throw any other things at me about?
Nobody's doing a damn thing.
This is exactly why we're here. Because we need to be able to have this discussion. That's an important question. What happens? What's the citizen? Ma'am, you're done.
I told you this already. Don't look at me.
Yes, because you come here and don't want to have a conversation. You want to shout. We get it. But this is an important discussion to have. What is the legal status of a fetus, of a child who's conceived by two Americans internationally? I don't know how we're going to talk about it. That's going to be a hard discussion to have. And we're going to have to figure it out. Maybe citizenship only gets applied in the country of your birth. But this is an important discussion to have. But we don't even have these discussions in America today because we say, just have the abortion because it's my body, my damn choice. But guess what? It's not your body. There's another human being that we're talking about. And in the pro-life movement, we say both her body and the child's body have equal